Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host Fondue.
This is Cheesy.
In this week's episode, we're talking about New Year's cheese resolutions.
Ooh.
We're talking about Quitter's Day,
Aw.
the best cheeses for winter,
Yeah.
and how long a cheese actually stays in your system.
Whoa.
We're going to find out about some of the best Cheese of the Month clubs.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, we're going to tell a very cheesy joke.
Ha.
Stay tuned for episode 166, Quitter, on Just Cheesy, the podcast. Here we are, already at the third week of January.
Yeah.
And even though it's early in the year,
Yep.
I find myself wondering, have people already quit their New Year's resolutions?
Have they?
I mean, simplycheese.net gave some of the best New Year's resolutions for cheese.
Yeah.
And sure, a lot of you have fitness goals or personal
Yeah.
growth goals, but
Blah, blah.
these ones are ones I think you might be able to continue throughout the year.
Yeah.
They recommend perfecting your cheese board skills.
Ooh.
They talk about hosting a cheese tasting party.
Yum.
Ooh, wouldn't that be good?
Oh, yeah.
They talk about exploring regional cheeses.
Whoa.
This is pretty easy.
Yeah.
And there's a few that you can look at if you go to our website
Yeah.
on justcheesy.com.
Mhm.
We've actually got a map of some of the places we've actually gone
Yeah, we do.
around the country.
Around the country.
They recommend incorporating cheese into new recipes.
Ooh.
They talk about learning how cheese is made. This one's on my list.
Me too.
They talk about building the ultimate cheese pairing toolkit.
Whoa.
Talking about pairing cheese with the right accompaniments
Ooh.
and having things like wine and fruits and nuts to combine your
Yum.
cheese with other foods.
Yeah.
They talk about sharing the love of cheese. Well, I'm pretty sure we've been doing that now for quite a few years.
Oh, yeah.
And they also recommend supporting artisan cheesemakers.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to bet that a lot of you have already succumbed to the new year.
Yeah.
Now, some websites will say it's the 10th.
Yeah.
But according to nationaltoday.com, January 17th is Ditch New Year's Resolution Day. And according to the
Whoa.
web, Quitter's Day was on the 10th.
Wow.
But in either case, this is alluding to quitting your resolution.
Already.
According to this website, there's a lot of history behind this holiday, even though it's kind of unofficial. But did you know that 1 in 3 people fail their New Year's resolution in the first month?
Whoa.
And that only 10% of people are successful at keeping their resolutions through the entire year?
Holy cow.
They say here that ditching the New Year's resolutions has been a practice for almost as long as New Year's resolutions themselves.
What?
The tradition of making New Year's resolutions started at the Babylonian festival of Akitu over 4,000 years ago.
Holy cow.
There's a timeline on this website.
Yeah.
3000 BC, the Egyptians celebrate the opening of the new year.
Okay.
46 BC,
Wow.
Julius Caesar invents a new calendar and declares January 1st the first day of the new year.
Whoa.
In 1671, Scottish writer Anne Halkett writes down pledges in her diary. The first ever recorded use of the term New Year resolution is published in a Boston newspaper in 1813.
Holy cow.
They make some suggestions as why people actually quit their New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
Maybe there's not enough commitment,
Oh.
not enough time.
Yeah.
Maybe you've experienced a setback.
Yeah.
There's slower progress,
Yeah.
not enough support.
Aw.
Maybe you've actually made an unrealistic goal of quitting cheese.
Yeah, why would you?
Or, and we'd like to really, really embrace this approach.
Yeah.
If you decided you wanted to quit cheese or you wanted to stay away from cheese this year,
Aw.
maybe this is the best time to quit your resolution. Because National Cheese Lovers Day is on January 20th.
Ooh.
And we've got a list for you from cheesehouse.com.
Ooh,
They
yeah.
actually suggest that there are some cheeses that are specifically best in the winter.
Ooh.
They say the cheeses made from animals' milk in the spring and summer months are at their peak flavor and texture by the following winter.
Whoa.
They suggest a few.
Okay.
Appenzeller,
Ooh.
Gruyere, Morbier,
Yeah.
Raclette,
Yum.
Rogue River Blue,
Ooh.
Uplands Cheese Pleasant Ridge Reserve.
Whoa.
Maybe you've made a resolution. You don't want to break it, but you still want to have some cheese.
Yeah.
According to cheesegrotto.com, there are some healthy cheese options for you.
There are?
Now, we want to preface this by saying we have absolutely no medical training.
No.
And we may have eaten a lot of cheese in our time. So this is just coming from a website on the internet. So just bear with us here. But they do have some good suggestions.
Yeah.
First and foremost, they talk about portion control.
Oh, yeah.
So being mindful in your consumption. They talk about pairing with healthy foods, and they talk about reading labels.
Okay.
They give a recommendation for some low-fat varieties.
Okay.
There's cottage cheese,
Ooh.
ricotta, feta.
Yeah.
There's high-protein cheeses like Parmesan, Swiss, and Gouda.
Yummy.
And there's ones for specific dietary needs like goat and vegan cheese.
Whoa.
Health.com has a list of 9 of the most healthy cheeses. They actually break it down by protein and calories, their carbs, fat, and some of the other vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, check it out.
They list feta and Parmesan.
Yum.
They have cottage cheese, cheddar cheese, and one of my very favorites, manchego,
Whoa.
which is coming in at 120 calories,
Manchego.
5.9 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat,
Okay.
0.4 grams of carbohydrates.
Whoa.
And they also talk about how much cheese you should eat per day.
How much?
And obviously, this is going to differ by person.
Oh,
it
sure.
depends on factors like activity levels, body size, and health goals.
Oh, yeah.
And according to their article, the American Heart Association recommends that people stick to about 3 servings of cheese per day,
Okay.
which equates to 3 ounces of cheese.
Yum.
So there still might be a way to incorporate cheese into your diet.
Whoa.
The American Heart Association is not a sponsor.
No.
But if it was, the ad would go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah,
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
they do.
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay!
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY,
Cheesy.
that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay, Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. Did you decide to quit cheese at the beginning of the year? Well, guess what?
No.
It actually might still be in your system.
What?
CookUnity.com has an article that says how long does dairy stay in your system? Well, apparently, it can be quite a while.
Whoa.
Now, they said it can vary.
Really?
Some dairy may be digested in as little as 1 to 2 hours.
Okay.
And they say some people might take up to 72 to digest and eliminate dairy.
Wow.
They said, but traces of dairy can remain in your system for 21 days.
Holy cow.
So that's right. If you quit at the beginning of the year, some of that dairy has traces still in your system.
Whoa.
The gastrointestinal system digests the dairy. It breaks it down into molecules.
Okay.
And then those are absorbed and distributed by the circulatory system.
Okay.
Digestion begins in your stomach with the acidic environment.
Okay.
The enzyme pepsin breaks down the proteins in milk to initiate digestion.
Right.
And lingual lipase breaks down milk fats.
Oh.
The fats reach the small intestine, and that
Okay.
further enhances the fat digestion process.
Sure.
And the enzyme lactase actually breaks down lactose, which is the sugar in milk.
Whoa.
Do I understand this process?
No.
Absolutely not.
Duh.
But there's a lot going on in the gut to make that stuff break down.
Yeah.
Let's say your resolution was to do number 1 on the simplycheese.net list of resolutions,
Okay.
which was try a new cheese every month.
Ooh, yeah.
On their website, they have a top 10 list of cheeses from 2024.
Whoa.
And you can order these right from their website.
Whoa.
Or maybe you wanted to have a subscription.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a link here to Amazon.com where we've just searched subscriptions for cheese.
Yeah.
We also have a list of links for the following. Murray'sCheese.com has a cheese club.
Ooh.
They have a mac and cheese club,
Ooh.
a Cheers to Cheese club,
Oh.
Cheese Board club,
Oh.
Cheese Explorers club,
Ooh.
and Globetrotters cheese club.
Whoa.
And those range anywhere from 56.67 a month
Oh, boy.
to 108.33.
So specific.
There's a website called Cheese of the Month Club.
Really?
And they actually allow you to design your own club.
Whoa.
You put in your state, and then you decide if you want to have cheese,
Ooh.
or cheese and chocolate, cheese and wine, cheese and beer,
Ooh.
or even cigars and flowers.
Whoa.
For 356, and they should have made it 365.
Yeah.
For $356, there's a 6-month gift of curated artisan cheese.
Yum.
CounterCheesemongers.com has a $180 subscription.
Okay.
And Fromagination.com has a cheese of the season. For
Wow.
$275, you can get 4 shipments throughout the year.
Wow.
And nothing says you have to have a subscription. You could always
Nope.
go to the store and buy yourself a block of cheese each month.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be expensive
Nope.
to enjoy a great taste of cheese.
I'm ready for a joke, Fondue.
Okay, Why did cream cheese quit working at the local bagel shop?
I don't know.
It couldn't handle the pressure of being spread so thin. Get it? Spreading cream cheese.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It was good
Yeah.
and a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to Just Cheesy the Podcast, episode 166, Quitter. We're going to have some links on our show notes and on our blog for places that you can find your very own cheese subscription.
Stay cheesy, everybody.